just welcome everyone today. Everyone to today's session, the first Tuesday session. It's lovely to have such a big turnout. And we're looking forward to this regular monthly session, and we hope that you, the audience, enjoy the guest speakers that we have, that will be presented every month, and also just learn from these sessions and find it interactive. I think just maybe some house rules. So I think if everyone can please, before the talk starts, we just request that the audience please mute your microphones. And also, if you feel comfortable, please share your camera so we can see. It's always easier to go and present when you can see people's faces. So we'd really appreciate that. I do apologize for myself, but I can't show my camera. Okay, awesome, great. So for today, the first session we're having for this year, we're starting off a session. We have Sandy Mergui as an IxDF member discussing how she used AI in her business to improve the quality of work for her customers. It was actually great that Sandy reached out to me, wanting to be a guest speaker. And also what's also even really great is that this will not be the last time we hear a presentation from her. She has another interesting topic to present to us later on in the year. Just some background information about Sandy. Sandy has been a designer since 2005. She has worked at multiple industries, from small print shops to working at an international corporate business, where she gained her experience in marketing and branding. Since April 2019, Sandy has successfully ran her own graphic design, web design, and marketing business. Hosting was added 2 years later to her service offerings. And her company, with this addition, is able to integrate a better marketing strategy and maintain branding of the client's entire business. While self-employed, Sandy has completed several courses improving the services offered to her clients, and in doing so, realized the power of AI. And this is what we're going to speak to us about today. So we're going to get some inside knowledge in terms of how she came about this. Just in terms of just the logistics, so in terms of, we are going to have questions, but it'll only be at the end of the presentation. So if you don't want to go and forget your questions, you're welcome to go and capture your questions in the chat. And then what we'll have is at the end, we'll have a Q&A session where we'll basically go through the questions in the chat, and also people are welcome to raise their hands and also ask questions during the Q&A session. So I'm now going to go hand over to Sandy Mergui. I'm so excited to hear her speak and just the topic she's going to present to us. So up to you, Sandy.
Thanks, Naledi. That was a great introduction. So hi everybody, my name is Sandy Mergui, and before we get into the topic of tonight of how I use AI in my business to help improve and also speed up the work for my customers, I think I should introduce myself, but Naledi did such a great job. I'll do the courtesy slide because I created it already. So I've been running my own graphic and web design company since 2019, and it's been a blast. I worked at a corporate company for almost 13 years in the marketing and in the software department, where those years collaborating with developers was invaluable, and I practically became fluent in geek speak, which occasionally meant that I had to be the translator between the marketing team and the web developers during our web meetings. So I'm 100% nerd, and it was a great learning experience working with those companies. Okay, so I want to get into the processes, just basic processes, and then we can go from that point forward. So I'm going to start off with copywriting. Have you ever felt like a marketing campaign was especially written just for you? That it had answered questions that you have or never knew you had, and it just resonated with you on a different level, and you just felt like you needed to either know more about it, you needed to know, you had to have the product or have the service, you just had to get it. Now, these types of creations or copies or marketing materials take a long time to create, and it's quite painstaking. So with the processes, what you would usually do is you would usually have meetings with your customers, learn about the business, gather some research, And the more you learn about the business, the better your copy can be ultimately. You're going to be reading some articles, you're going to be watching some videos, you're going to gather more and more information. This research can take from a couple of hours for very small bites. And the production of this can also take a couple of hours, very small bites, like Facebook posts or something like that. And it can take up to a week, maybe even longer, to get all this information to then build a copy, which is painful. So with this, I had to work smarter. So as my workload increased and more websites came through, more marketing projects started coming in, I had to do the smart thing and start involving AI into my business. Okay, so I think everybody kind of starts with ChatGPT because it's like the go-to and everyone starts there first. So ChatGPT was the first artificial intelligence website I started playing with, and with anything, you kind of start creeping in very slowly and you start off small. So you start creating small things like I just need a post, or I need a heading, or I just need something like a great title for a product that does XYZ for this little company, and it's going to be a post on Facebook, or it's going to be a small blurb for a website or something. So these things, the ChatGPT in particular, has cut down a lot of time for me, a lot of research time, just by summarizing huge chunks of information into small bite-sized nuggets that you're able to easily digest, easily comprehend. Obviously, if you have any more questions, you just type it in, ask more questions, then you just take it from there. And what's beautiful is you can now take all of this information that you've generated, all this research that you've now done, and you can say, right, write me a copy. And it can take all of that information and create a text-dense copy for you that you can then work with. Obviously, with anything, you need to vet the information. So you would just add some more information into it, humanize it slightly, add some personality, add some sales tactics to it. And the amount of extra added work that you need to do into it doesn't it doesn't take away from the research time that you had to do. So at the end of the day, you could do the research if you had the time. If you had a week for one customer, if you had a week, you could do the research. It's not that you can't do the research, but it just makes it so much simpler, where you can get this huge topic that may be a brand new topic to you. You can get all of that information kind of condensed into a very small window for you to focus on, which is quite nice. So at the end of the day, that huge workload gets cut down from multiple days, multiple weeks, just into a one-day period. I wrote the rise of the chatbots, because at one point, it just seemed like everywhere you looked, there was another chatbot, whether it's a text chatbot or an image chat, an image creation, artificial intelligence website, or any of those things. So the rise of the chatbots. And I got an email from Google saying that they've just released their artificial intelligence and I should give it a try. And Bard is the name of Google's AI. It was first released to the public the 21st of March 2023. And because it was a Google AI, I thought, I'm going to be a little sneaky with this. I think it should be brilliant at Google Ads campaigns. It has to have some inside secrets. It has to have some insider information that it can help me with. And obviously the SEO would be strong and all of those keywords might be generated a little bit better. And I just thought this is what I'm going to be using for my Google Ads. So what I would do is, again, take that step back, go through, do all the research, generate as much information as I can, put all of that into Bard and go, right, this is the company, this is what we want to be doing. We want to create a Google ad campaign. We need to create it for multiple groups or whatever it is. This is the goal at the end of the day. The customer wants more website visitors, or he wants more foot traffic into his shop, whatever the goal of the customer is at the end of the day. It will then take this entire paragraph and create individual Google Ads campaigns, keywords, groups, and the whole copy for the actual Google read up. So when you're searching on Google and you type in something, that copy, that text that you're reading, that's actually written by somebody like me. And those are the words that obviously attract you to click on that link or want you to, actually, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to click and visit that website. So those little ads at the end of the day have to be really compelling, really straight to the point, and it needs to guide you essentially to what the customer needs. So it's very easy. It's easy to create, but it's also easy to mess up. So what I liked about Bard is that it's really, really easy to use, very easy to use, very easy to edit. And the editing part means if it starts producing very high-end, very technical, high-end level text or something, good practice with any marketing and copywriting specifically is to always work at a lower level. Then that helps people grasp these concepts a little bit easier. It helps people to remember content a bit easier. So when you work in, or when you're writing and you're writing in a little bit of a lower grade, English, like they say 4th grade or whatever it is, which seems pretty low. But when you start writing in these easy to digest sentences, the customer will remember the information. So sometimes I find that Bard and ChatGPT was being a little bit too intellectual, a little bit too professional. And what's nice is you can adjust the tone and you can say, this needs to be a very professional tone, or you can adjust the tone and say, this needs to be a casual tone, or it needs to be soft, or it needs to be light, or it needs to be excited. So you can obviously adjust the tone as you need to go. And what it does is at the end, it actually gives you some tips of what you can do and how you can better something. If you've asked a question, it answers the question, but then below that, it will give you some more insights and another way to look at something. So Bard was really where to go. So as with ChatGPT, the Bard sessions were stored. So this means you log in with your Google account. I logged in with my Google account with ChatGPT as well. And what was lovely is if you're busy with projects, you've already opened your window and you started working in this project. Meetings come up and you're like, I need to focus on this meeting now. I'm going to close this window. I'll carry on later. You do your meeting and then you come back 2 hours later, a day later, a week later, whenever, and your window's there. Your work is there. You just go to that side panel. You find what you were initially working on, the research, whatever it was, click on it, and all that information is there for you. So you don't have to restart the process. It's all there for you, ready to go, and you can just continue where you are. And I think what was nice is as you start asking questions and as you start, generating more and more information, it will actually change some of the information slightly. And while you're reading through it, something kind of sticks. And then when you're busy with a project, you're like, hang on, there was that one thing that I remembered. It's nice that you can go into this thing and you can find that nugget of information that you needed. So I really like that. I thought that was quite useful. Okay, so I'm going to go into the next section now, which I think everybody is thinking about. Is it cheating? Is it? I don't know. Okay, so just as a designer, I'm a designer, uses Photoshop to remove a blemish from a face or adds clouds to an advert, which I'm sure you've seen is done. It's a tool. So at the end of the day, I think it's just a tool that I use to help me overcome huge projects. So overwhelmingly huge projects. Like I said to a lady this morning, I once said yes to a customer and he had 170 odd products and I had to do Google ads for every single one of them. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of information. But obviously, if you're using something like this, it helps you manage that workload. So at the end of the day, I find that this is just a tool. It's a tool to help me gather everything, put it all together, and get it into one place for myself. So I don't feel like it was cheating. I had to get over myself. I had to snap out of it because it's not cheating. It's a tool. It's a tool that we use. It's a tool that we have to our disposal. Most of it's free. And at the end of the day, I studied copywriting. I know the techniques that we need to use to make a product or a service sell or whatever it needs to do for that ideal targeted person or group of people. And we need to let them know that this is the solution that they're looking for. So I need to be able to take that copy that bot has created for me and still inject some human into it, some selling, some, there's selling techniques. PAS is a selling technique where you talk about your pain points and you agitate the pain point even further. And then you go, this is the solution. And then people are like, oh, I feel it, that type of thing. So there's a lot of marketing and copywriting strategies that might not happen in these chats. And I need to obviously inject that into it because that's my job. That's what I need to do. So at the end of the day, I think it's just a tool that I use to help me with these large projects, getting all the information into one manageable size of text that I can go through and edit and use and do whatever I need to do. So at the end of the day, is it cheating? I want to hear from you guys during the Q&A. And for the people that are watching this on YouTube, comment down below. Is this cheating? Is ChatGPT cheating? Using a chat AI bots, are they cheating to help you with huge workloads? I need to know the answer. Okay, we have a new bot on the block, and her name is Gemini. So what happened is Bard got renamed to Gemini. So that was lovely. And that was done on the 8th of February 2024. And we got an email to say this has been changed and it's still the same look and feel. So I say she's had an interface lift and she still looks the same. She still functions the same. She's still awesome. And I really have enjoyed what she's done. So now I needed to put her to the test. Okay. So I had a customer come to me. So before we get into that, I had a customer come to me on Valentine's Day, or the afternoon before Valentine's Day. So it was the 13th of February. I had a customer come to me and she said, Sandy, we need to create a Facebook post. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll help you with that. This needs to go live today, this afternoon, so that it's live for the Valentine's event. Please, can you help me with this information? And she WhatsApps me the time, the dates, and basically what they want to say. So I'm like thinking, oh my goodness, okay. So I gave Gemini the test. So I was like, right, Facebook, Valentine's Day Facebook post for the following message. This is for the week of love. Come to Royal Coffee Roastery and receive 4 stamps on a loyalty card, valid from this date to this date. Coffee drinks only. And once you get 10 stamps on your loyalty card, you get a free cup of coffee. Like, that's it. That's all I got. So I was like, all right, Gem, it's up to you. What are you going to produce for me? Spread the love and the coffee at Royal Coffee Roastery this Valentine's week. Little emoji. I love it. Celebrate the love and the delicious coffee all week long at Royal Coffee Roastery from the 14th to the 16th of Feb. Grab our coffee drinks and get 4 stamps on your loyalty card instead of the usual one. That's right. Quadruple the points rewards towards your free coffee. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Treat yourself and your sweetheart or your galentine to a warm, delicious cup of love. Another emoji. I love it. With a sweet deal, and there's no better way to celebrate the week of love than with Royal Coffee Roastery's Pick Me Up. Don't forget to fill up with your 10 stamps. You'll get a free coffee on us. See you there. Valentine's Day, hashtags everywhere, with a PS and a PSS of don't forget to get your extra stamps. I was like, this is amazing. Paired with that photo with a little heart and the cappuccino cup and the little cookie and the stamps, I was like, this is amazing. It made me so excited. I wanted to go get 4 stamps so that I can get a free coffee. This is a coffee shop that I visit as well. And I was super excited. Like, she superseded what I needed. I actually didn't change anything. The only thing I asked was, what's a galentine? And then it said something about it's like a friend's day before Valentine's Day. So like singletons can get together and do whatever. So I was like, okay, we're going to just remove that part. We don't need that part. And I sent it off to the customer. She responded with like a whole lot of thumbs up. She's like, this is awesome. Everyone loves it. I sent them the photo and that was it. I couldn't believe the level of excitement that Gemini was able to inject into this copy. And yeah, I was completely blown away. I need to have a sip of water in my really huge glass. So I was really blown. I was really impressed. Okay, so what else can you use a chatbot for? So I've been showing you how I've been using it for marketing practices and certain website edits and things like that. Like those are the typical things that I do with it. I have used it for these few things that I'll be mentioning here. So all forms of written communication. So this means letterheads. I didn't add, but you can obviously use it for WhatsApp messages. So people that want to send professional businesses that want to send professional WhatsApp messages to their customers, like a mini newsletter or something like that. So newsletters, so it's quite nice where you take a chunk of information from a customer's website, so their product page, and you go, we want to market this product. So copy and paste. Create a newsletter for me. It needs to be fun. It needs to be engaging. It needs to drive the traffic to the website, because at the end of the day, that's what the customer wanted, is more traffic, more movement to their website. Or it could be, we want more foot traffic in the door, or we want them to book this holiday, or whatever it is. So whatever the goal is of the customer at the end of the day. So writing newsletters pumps them out beautifully. Professional email replies. Okay, so that's for the difficult emails. So it could be an email for like an eviction notice. It could be an email for when you're so flustered and you've just purchased something, or you're looking for support and the support is not helping you, and you've obviously want to pull a car in and I want to speak to your manager, but instead you kind of put your professional hat on. You're like, right, I'm going to settle this nicely. Write out your email, your whole current email if you want to, stating all the issues that you had, and just maybe adding dates or emails or references or whatever it is. What it does, so in my case, I think I used Bard. I think it was Bard. And he told me that I needed to be more professional, and I needed to maybe use these words instead of these words. And at the end of the day, I sent the email, I got the response from a manager, and he was so lovely. So professional emails for support issues that you may have, it works very well. You don't get the current emails, you get the nice, please help me emails. So Facebook posts, as you saw with the emojis, I think it's beautiful. So little Facebook posts, so even if you can't have a graphic with it, just the Facebook post having an image, so the little emojis or something, creates interest, and it draws. It's psychologically said that anything that has a cartoon or a graphic or even a face will automatically draw somebody's eyes to that comment, that post, whatever it is. So if you're not able to have a photograph or a picture for your Facebook post, jamming in some emojis, well thought out emojis, is very good. And some general information. So if you have research that you want to do on a project, so something that just fascinates you, or you're going to be going on a trip, you're going on a trip to Paris, and you want to learn about the Eiffel Tower, or you want to find out, the river that's running past the Eiffel, what's that thing called? So you can Google it, but you can also type, and you can be like, so I'm going to Paris and I want to know about hotspots and I want to know about this. So it basically treats you like a friend. It goes, yeah, you're going on a holiday. This is the thing that you can expect, and this is what you can find, and this is where the airport's located. And it's actually pretty neat. And I asked it the other day. I said to ChatGPT, I'm doing a talk on AI, and it says, what an amazing subject. And then I said to it, what else can you do besides, help with information and vetting code and things like that? And it says, we are a companion for people. People can talk to us. So I'm like, okay, that's sweet. So anyway, next subject is YouTube. So planning a video and planning a script. I've done this before. I'm guilty. I've done this before for a YouTube video. I had a lot of research to do for a video. It was quite time draining. And I said to, I think it was ChatGPT, I need your help. I am making a YouTube video and I would like it to be about this subject. And can you help me make the video? Can you direct me on what I need to do? And it actually did such an amazing job. So it would say, let's say, for example, okay, we got the Paris example. Let's say I want to do a video about Paris. It will actually say to you, so after I asked it to help me with the script as well, it will actually say to you, image on Eiffel Tower, And then you know that like that's your director's cue of you need to look at the Eiffel Tower now. Okay, back to presenter. And then it would be like me talking, and then in this and this and this about the Eiffel Tower. And then it goes back to something else. And then it will say photo of whatever it is. And then it goes back to presenter. Back to presenter walks forward and says this and this and this. And I was like, that is amazing. It tells you exactly what to do, like a little director living in your computer, what to do about the script, about the video. It just helped me with absolutely everything. The video went really well, and people were like, we need another one. When's that coming out? So if you need anything, and I'm talking about anything, you can literally reach out to any of these chatbots, ask them, even if you've got code that you're struggling with, you've taken over a project from somebody and they've given you this huge 2, 3,000, 4,000 lines even of code, and you're like, what is this person smoking? You can take their code, copy and paste it into something like a ChatGPT, a Copilot, Gemini, whatever, any of those things. It will decipher, it will go through all of that code, read through everything, and you can say to it, what is this code's purpose? What is it meant to do? What database is this code pulling from? What's the outcome of this code? Is it supposed to display something? Is it supposed to be a pop-up? Is it supposed to write to an Excel spreadsheet? So you can ask the questions of like, what is this code doing? It's not that you can't do it. I'm sure you can do it. You can spend 3 days reading thousands of lines of code and figuring out what it does, where it does, what it writes to, where's the SQL database. But do you want to? No. Nobody wants to spend days working on something like this when you can literally copy paste into a bot, ask the relevant questions, and bot tells you, this is pulling from this database that's located in this area, and it's going to be resulting this. That much quicker. You can get your work done just like that. So at the end of the day, all I want to say is the next time you're in a crunch and you know that you're not going to be able to produce your best work in your little window that you've been given, just try a chatbot. Just try it out. It's not going to be 100%. That's one thing I can tell you. I have been let down. It's not going to be 100%. You need to vet this information. But I can assure you, it's going to save you time. It's going to save you time, whether it be research, whether it be production, whether it be writing, whether it be consuming a whole lot of information. I'm pretty sure it can help you out. So I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you so much, Sandy. That was an amazing presentation. I think before people start with questions, I will make a few points.
Yes.
Thank you just for an amazing presentation.
Yes.
I read a lot on LinkedIn in terms of, and of it all over the place, about how everyone's afraid of like AI taking their jobs. And I think it's just amazing how you presented to us how we can actually use AI to actually
Save your job.
Yeah, do a better job. And it's not going to take away the job. And we can actually basically make sure we can focus on being more strategic and get rid of all the mundane aspects of the work we do on a daily basis. So I think I love that aspect about your presentation. And I think just maybe from the comments point of view, there's this, I think agreements in terms of the same line of thinking. So you have Trevor saying that it's only cheating if you solely rely on it as a tool to do your work and aid in your outputs. We have Navisha saying it's not cheating as you had the core idea and just elaborating on it. And then we had Maggie saying that that's being innovative and smart, and tech assistance is awesome. So I think it's just aligns with like also my viewpoint in terms of just what your presentation showed us. So I'm gonna hand over to people for questions. I think hands up and let's have some questions. I mean, for this amazing presentation we just had.
Yeah, please.
Okay, go ahead, Samuel. You have a question?
Just don't forget to unmute yourself, eh?
Hi everyone.
Oh, me.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
The name is Samuel Minister, and your lecture was quite insightful.
I'm glad.
I try to use AI every once in a while, especially for copy, because I'm not very good with writing. But how do we? Sometimes when you create this copy, it still feels, for lack of a better word, AI. Like it feels
It
like a
feels
machine
stiff.
did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Mm.
still feels that way. Is there
Yeah.
any way to like inject some human emotion into this kind of copy?
Yes,
Maybe
there
like
is a
a
way.
key, something to say to like just make it sound more human, basically.
Yes, there is definitely a way. So I found that some of the bots like ChatGPT, I find were a bit rigid. I think that's a very good word. It was very rigid. And I think Gemini, I mean, as you saw Gemini when Gemini did that Facebook post for Valentine's Day, the level of excitement that was produced from just that post, that I mean, how many lines of words did I put in there? I think I must have altogether maybe 3 sentences. And that body of text that Gemini produced and that level of excitement that I felt when I read it, I think that is the level. I think maybe just try a different bot would be the first thing I would say to you is maybe take that copy that you felt very stagnant or rigid and take that copy and put it maybe into Gemini and give Gemini a try and maybe just say liven it up a bit. And you need to always remember there's keywords that you need to insert with your copy. So there's no point just putting the information in and going, well, I need a write-up for an ear cleaner. It's not going to give you anything. But if you say, I need to have a website post, so a website meaning I need to have lots of information, or a Facebook post, which is going to be a short amount of information. It needs to be punchy. I need to get to the point. It needs to be, you need to give it a goal. I want customers to visit my website. I want customers to book online. I want customers to phone this number. So you need to give them a direction, a call to action. So they need to do something, or a direction that meets your goal, that meets whatever it is that you were trying to do. So if you're trying to do a website and you just want people to read the website, that is just informational. They just need to read the information, digest it, and understand. But if you want anything that needs to have personality, that would be things like a cold calling or cold calling email. It would be a Facebook post. It would be like a newsletter or something. Those are the times that you need to start injecting humanity. At the end of the day, it's just some humanity, some joking, some liveliness, and just I think it's like talking to your best friend. What are you going to say to your best friend? You're not going to be like, I need to tell you about this product. You're going to be like, there's a new product and I have to tell you about it. It did this and it did this for me and it did this. And that's how you create a level of excitement. So the next time you're working on a copy and you feel it just needs to be boosted, maybe just inside your head, just think about how would I be telling this, whatever it is, this project, the story, whatever it is, to my best friend. And I need to be excited about this product to my friend. What words would I use to my friend? If it's in a casual tone or if it's in a more professional tone, you obviously need to think about that level of professionality that you need to have, which obviously means everything gets stepped up, and the level of information that you would maybe pass over to your manager and say to your manager, oh, I saw this really cool app and it's going to save us so much time because it does this and it does this and it does this. So just think about those types of things when you're writing a copy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sorry about that, interrupting. Go ahead, Samuel.
Like this was very insightful. Really, thank you.
Good, I'm glad.
Okay, I'll go on to the next question. We've got Navisha next, with the first hand up, and then after Navisha, we've got Maggie.
Cool.
Hi, Sandy. It's been a great presentation so far. I found it really insightful as well.
Good.
So my question is, what are the ethical concerns of AI in marketing?
In what way?
Like, I think some time ago, like ChatGPT was apparently leaking information on other companies and stuff. So what ethical concerns do you think there is of AI in marketing?
Well, I think if it's leaking of information, that's a different ball game, and that's something I'm not qualified in. So I would just say, look, at the end of the day, if you're working with very confidential information or something that's very secretive, like let's say, for example, something like a Coca-Cola, which is a really big brand, they create really huge campaigns, and for up to a year, that campaign is quiet. No one knows about it. There's a handful of people that are working on the campaign to keep it a secret. And the second that thing is ready, it goes live and it like shocks everyone's socks off. Okay. So I think in that situation, if you're working with something that's very sensitive for a big customer like a Coca-Cola or something like that, obviously people would need to be signing NDAs. I don't think it's a good idea to be using information or freeware essentially to generate information and to generate concepts or paragraphs or something like that. There is free versions of AI that can assist you. Obviously, they have paid. There's paywalls and there's a level of security that they promise to give you. At the end of the day, you need to think about one of two things. The AI that we use, so whether it be Google's AI or Microsoft's AI or any of those things, they are all being taught how to answer a question and how to produce information based on the information that you and millions of other people are inputting into that thing daily, seconds, the whole time that thing is being kind of capturing information, and it's learning and it's building a database of information to then produce something for you. So it's not about, you can't gatekeep anything and you can't be like, you can't tell this to anybody. It's using the information and it's obviously going to be, saving it and storing it and whatever. The problem that I found was plagiarizing. Is I know that I've read something. I was busy working on a project, and I read something, and I still remember reading this article online, and then I was reading the article to get more insights for this project that I was working on. And then I went to chat and I said to chat, look, I need to do this and this and this. This is the subject I'm working on. Didn't it reply with the information from that website? And I remembered reading that stuff on that website. I remembered reading it, and there it was on my screen. Like, here we go, you can use this. So I think you need to be very careful with plagiarizing other people's work as well. So just be mindful of those things. At the end of the day, a creepy crawly in a swimming pool is a creepy crawly in a swimming pool, and you're going to be calling a pool cleaning mechanism or whatever it is. But the minute you start using creepy crawly's logo and using words like footstoots on their website, you're going to get into trouble. So I think those are some things that you need to think about in terms of marketing material that you can just release out there. You need to just be mindful of plagiarism and that you're not copying and using sensitive information. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thanks, Sandy.
Okay, cool. Okay, Maggie.
Thank you. I just also want to start by thanking you for this insightful information. It's
You're
really
welcome.
helpful. I've used ChatGPT before, but I think you also answered part of my questions because I realized that the information or what it writes is very brief. So I think it also dependent on the amount of information and the description that one has made.
Exactly.
That is covered. But I think my next part is what you said about the issue of copyright, which is also related to plagiarism. I'm trying to think that, and I need some correction here that, whether it's Gemini or it's any other tool, the information that they are sharing or that they are putting together, they've gathered it from other sources. So have you actually used this information in such a way that you have been able to actually get some referencing from it? Or maybe that is not necessary?
Look, I think when you do any type of project, so it depends on the subject, I think, where you need references. So if you're going to be using ChatGPT for a presentation and you're going to be presenting very sensitive information, like medical information, to a company, you need to cite references. That's the basics of all marketing, whether it be, I mean, medical, legal, and I believe there are a few other industries that you need to have references for. So you can never ever say, this is 100% guaranteed to do XYZ. If you don't have this guarantee or this reference to back the sentence that you just said and threw out into the universe, you're signing yourself up for legal letters coming to your door forever, because that level of information and that level of confidence needs to be backed up, and you need to have references for those types of things. So whether it comes to marketing, legal things, and I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, but it's also, it has to, I can't anyway. There's a few of those things that you need to have specific references for. Then yes, you need to have the references, and you need to cite where you got that information from. So you would need to say, this is the journal name, the date, and then who wrote the journal, and then obviously the referencing, the point, the chapter, whatever it was that you referenced it from. But with regards to, I need, I'm selling this mouse and I need to write up about it, I'm going to say, okay, it's a Logitech and it's this and it's that. At the end of the day, those are facts. It's a Logitech, it's a mouse, and it has a wheel, and it can click. And so that level of information, you can send that out without having any kickback or anybody coming back for you for that information. But when it comes to very sensitive stuff, having sites, so citing where you got the information from, references, all of those things, that's very important. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you very much. Will any of these tools, including ChatGPT, assist in sourcing the references?
You can request it, but it won't tell you. It generally won't. And I see Vaughn's agreeing with me as well. That level of information, you're going to have to manually find all of that stuff, especially when it comes to very sensitive stuff. And that's what I was saying, sensitive as in medical stuff. You can never say this miracle drug will 100% cure whatever it is without citing a document, a journal, a study, a case study, whatever it is. You need to have these documents to back you up. And that level of information you would have to find yourself. But that information is not very difficult to come by. And you could probably use Google. I mean, you can just go straight to Google and you can type, I need to learn more about, let's say, for example, you're doing a write-up on nutrition, because nutrition kind of goes hand in hand with a little bit of a medical thing, because you can be writing a write-up about diabetes and nutrition, which is a medical condition, and you can't be saying things about diabetes and a nutrition based on random things that you've just thought of. It has to be cited, it has to have references, and there has to be specific things to back up what you've just said. And in order for you to find that information, you have to have read through those journals to back up that information. I don't know if that helps you.
Thank you very much.
And with regards to your first question, sorry if I can just answer that for you. If you found that ChatGPT wasn't giving you enough content when you were requesting information, you need to be specific about what you're looking for. So you need to say to ChatGPT, I would like to load this product onto a website, and I need to have details about this product. So with a customer, it would obviously give you FABs, which is, features and benefits of a product. Using those features, using those benefits, you can put that into ChatGPT as well as a brief write-up and a description of the product. And you can say, I need to have more information. It can then start generating information for you. So you've given it all the information, and all it's doing is it's taking it and it's writing it out in a little bit of a neater format for you that can then be used multiple ways. You can take that same information and say, create me a short Facebook post so that I can put it on there to drive traffic to the website. Create me a small blurb within a newsletter that the customer wants to add. So a small newsletter, the blurb gets created, you stick that in your newsletter with a link back to your website. Does that help you?
Very helpful, thank you.
Good.
Okay, we have Vaughan next with a question.
Thanks, Sandy, for the time.
You're welcome.
It's just off the wall one. How long, if at all, do you think people will become immune or sensitized to the fact when something is generated?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. And I think it's the same question that you get when you start browsing through Facebook and you start seeing Angelina Jolie kissing The Rock and you're going, oh, but then you realize, hang on, that's obviously fake because you see a weird line here by the neck where the face joins the neck. And then you start realizing that it's obviously digitally altered. So I think it's going to take people they're going to either get fooled by it completely or they will maybe be smart enough to realize that, hang on, this doesn't feel human, and choose to still use the company or not. At the end of the day, if the company is providing a service or a solution, then it's something that you actually do want or that you'd like to use. Would you still use it whether a bot created the message, yes or no?
Thanks. It was just an off-the-wall one.
No, it's very good. It's very good. And I actually saw a clip the other day of this woman talking to I think it was a man, if I'm not mistaken, or vice versa. And they were dating. So they were going on like this date. And every time this person, so the one person asked the other person, so what do you do? And they go, I source information. And all the answers seemed to be very bot-like. And then they were like, I need to go home and, I need to recharge myself. And the answer, and eventually when the person walked away, she phoned her friend and she's like, her friend says, how was it? She goes, oh, I think I was on a date with a bot again. And it was just one of those conversations where every time that person said something, you're kind of going, but is it a bot? Because it looks human. So I hear where you're coming from, and I think it's going to be very interesting in the future.
Yeah, I think especially because if more and more people are using it, the spidey senses are going to be there more and more as to like, I don't know if you saw that recent ad from Elon Musk where he was providing local investors, South Africa local investors, with an opportunity. And I saw it and I was immediately, this is a scam. And it turned out it was a scam, something like 15 million rand or something worth of investments people put up. But immediately I was triggered to something wasn't right with it. So it'll be interesting as more and more people use it, whether more and more people can pick up where the line is between AI generated or not.
Well, I think it goes with phishing emails as well. When we first started getting those phishing emails with your bank is being robbed and you need to log into internet banking right now, and then you're like, and you click and you log in and you do all the stuff, and then next week all your money's gone. You go, what happened?
Well, I suppose at least the language will improve on those emails coming through because some of them are horrific. That's how you normally identify them, exactly.
Yeah, the spelling gives it away immediately. Yeah, I got one the other day that said it wasn't good morning, it was good morning. I was like,
well, there was actually there was a YouTube article just recently that said, did you know, this was clickbait, did you know this year, how did I say it? This year, a cyber crime will increase to 32 mil. And I thought to myself, I wonder if I should write back to the guy and say to him, how do I get involved? I don't think he'd take it very well.
That's funny. Oh, no, that's very cool.
Awesome. So we actually have a few comments in the chat I want to mention, and then we're going to go into a question from Samuel. So there's a comment from Maggie, who's MR. It's not cheating. I use ChatGPT for both professional and personal writing. It's easy to instruct it to the tone. And then we have another comment from Dorel. There are tools available that can detect generative AI output for plagiarism. Turnitin is used for in the education space for essays. So those are 2 points that come from the chat. I'm going to hand Samuel has a question.
Okay.
Hi, sorry, I'm going again. I just wanted to ask this question. So say we are Africans, yeah?
Yeah.
And I don't really think this like AI generated text resonates very well with Africans. So let's say not South Africa, not Nigeria, well, let's say other core African countries like Ghana, for example, Cameroon. I have tested this. I have tested a few AI generating, copy generating platforms, even like Copy AI, for example. They still don't resonate with the African people. So is there a way to make it more African, I guess?
Honestly, I think the more
It's
Africans that use it, the more the database will grow. I think that's all it is. I think it just needs to learn. And at this point, if you think about how many English-speaking countries are using and injecting information into any of those databases at this point, that's why it's so rich and has all of this information, and it can help us with these questions all in English. But, you know, if anybody Afrikaans had to go on there and start typing in Afrikaans, it's going to be like Dutch ? You know, it's not going to understand what's going on. So I think if the more that you wanted to learn a specific language, whether it's in Cameroon or Nigeria or where else it is, I think the more you start injecting information into it, that database will grow. And I think it will get to a point where anybody can effectively use it. Because I can assure you now, I'm sure the Indian database and the Chinese database, maybe, I don't know if the Chinese people are using it, but I'm just using it as like the biggest populations. If they had to be using it every single day, their database will also just grow immensely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think just want to find out any last minute questions. I don't see any other hands up. So I just want to say thank you so much, Sandy. I'm going to hand over to SD to just maybe close out. But also just a quick thank you to all the attendees. I think it's really great to have everyone attend, just be engaged and interactive and all the questions you guys asked. So I think it was really amazing. And I think it was a great start to our year of these sessions. I'll hand over to SD.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Sandy, for all the time and effort you put into preparing this presentation for us. And thank you so much for everyone spending your Tuesday evening with us. We really appreciate it. And thank you for being engaging and asking questions. So we are going to do these first Tuesdays every month. And if you would like to speak at one of these events, please reach out to us. I will post our email addresses in this chat, and then feel free to contact us, and then we'll help you get it set up. So we hope you have a lovely evening and hope to see you next month.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ah, Samuel, I can see your face now.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.